Welcome to the Missouri Valley Conference Game of the Week preview show presented by Mercy, the official orthopedics and sports medicine provider of the Missouri Valley Conference, with head coach Ben Jacobson of the Northern Iowa Panthers. I'm Harry Schroeder. And Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on your local Gray Media station or Matrix Midwest here in St. Louis, the Panthers will be hosting those Belmont Bruins. And Ben Jacobson, appreciate your time today. Jake, you guys have a real important win on Sunday, but then it's a quick turnaround here in Missouri Valley play.
Yeah, and that's one of the best parts of getting into conference play is no matter how that game turns out, you turn around and you got a day or 2 days to get ready, and you get to play somebody else. And I've talked about it a bunch over the years, Harry, and I know that the two of us have. The league is so much fun to be a part of because the games are always hard. You've got to your preparation's got to be really good in between them, and they come at you fast.
What did you guys do well against Southern Illinois on Sunday?
Our bench played well in the first half. Reddick Bourne had some extended minutes in the first half. Max Weisbrod, our transfer from, had his most minutes in a while here and really played well. Will Hornseth has played good basketball for a true freshman up front for us, and he played well. And Cal Polk, although it was only 6 minutes, he got hit in the head and had to leave the game and take a couple stitches. But those four really played well in the first half, and that made a big difference for us. We were down 9 at one point in that first half and went into halftime up 38-34. And a big reason why was to play off the bench. And then I'll tell you, in the second half, our starting group defended at a high level. We had a stretch. It was probably 10, 12 minutes. It really had a stretch of good defense. It got us into the open court. And so the bench in the first half, and then I would tell you we attacked in transition. Those would be the two things that I thought we did really well against Southern.
You talked about those young guys, and some of them are needing to play more because of the injury to RJ Taylor. How have you guys had to adjust your game plan and your strategy without RJ?
Yeah, it's been different, and you tack onto that, we haven't seen Cale Schmidt yet, and he's a first year transfer to us, so the league hasn't seen him either. And we saw him all summer, June and July, and obviously had him in practice up until the point where he hurt his knee. And so our two scholarship point guards, we're without both of those guys now. So it's been a little bit of an adjustment. Fortunately, Trey has played that position for us during the course of his first 2 seasons. So he's got some experience there, so able to bump him down there, and not a huge change for him, but all of June and July, all of September and October, he was playing off the ball, Harry. So now all of a sudden, down two point guards, and so now he's at that spot, and he's done a good job with it. And that's allowed us to get Ben Schweiger and Leon Bond into the starting lineup together. So now we've got a backcourt that's got some size and some length and a ton of versatility. And those 3 guys have played good basketball, and so it's been different because RJ's got a ton of energy. He's bringing that ball in transition. He's flying it up the floor. He's circling under the hoop, the old Steve Nash deal under the basket. And then he guards the ball hard, and he's moving, and you can feel that. Okay? So he's out there at the point of things, and you're behind him as a teammate, as a defender. You can feel his energy, and that helps you. So we missed that. I mentioned Cale Schmidt. He's really tough, really hard nosed. He's going to fight you on every single individual battle throughout the course of the game. That impacts your teammates. So they're both good basketball players, right? But we miss energy. RJ's just energy. We miss Cale's toughness, and so we're getting adjusted to that. Harry, that's an area where by nature, Trey is more laid back. You've watched Trey for 2 years now, 2+ years, and he's a competitive kid, young man, and he's played really well for us. And I love what he does for our team, and I love him. By nature, he's a little more laid back. Ben Schweiger, by nature, is a little more laid back, and so that's an area where we gotta ramp that up a little bit, but that takes some adjusting too.
Talk about the growth in Jacob Hudson's game and the uniqueness that he brings to your program, to your team. I think his stat line Sunday was 20 points and 1 rebound, but he's your post player. It's kind of a unique thing, and I know you guys keep him outside some to shoot the 3, but just talk about his growth and his development.
Yeah, a lot of it has come in the way of his confidence and his belief in himself, and That I think more than anything has allowed him to have success. We saw him turn a pretty big corner, let's call it mid-January last year, and had a great finish. Right, the last 4 or 5 weeks, I felt he was playing as well as any of the top 6, 7, 8 guys in the league. I just that the way he finished out the year for us, and he's carried that over. So he's worked really hard, so his game's gotten better. He's gotten stronger. He's gotten himself in really good shape. He's worked, he's always been a guy that's been able to shoot the basketball from the 3-point line, and he's comfortable doing that. I'll tell you where he's gotten better offensively here. He is on the block. He's, it's Bruce Weber a long time ago, and I forget the young guy's name. He had a guy who was 7 foot or 7'1" or 7'2", and he shot jump shots, and he really didn't post up. And I remember, I don't remember the exact quote, but Bruce said something to the effect of, well, look, he's not good at catching it on the block and scoring. He's not good at that. He's good at making jump shots. So why would we, because he's tall, why would we put him down there when he's no good at it? Let's let him out here where he's good. Huddy's different than that, and we're seeing that on the block, where he's been really effective for us on the block, and he's worked hard at that part of his game. But you mentioned it. You'll see him on the 3-point line. He can really shoot it. So we're going to utilize that and have him out there. Some nights he gets more rebounds than others. He isn't he's not a great rebounder. He's good positionally, and he blocks out pretty good, but he doesn't have a ton of explosiveness when he's standing still. And so he isn't a great rebounder that way. So that's why you'll see some nights he'll get some rebounds, and some nights he won't get as many.
A great rebounder is named Titan Anderson, and he had a double-double on Sunday. And he's just a guy that's been there and grown in your program. Just brag about Titan a little bit.
Yeah, it's so much fun to be a part of that. And I think there is a part of it with the rule changes 2.5, 3 years ago now with the portal and the NIL, where maybe there's a little more of that proud dad in you. When you've got a young guy in Titan who could have went, this spring, he could have went and seen how much money he could have, gotten, and he would have gotten more. He's getting a nice amount here with us, right? But he could have gotten more, as we've seen with players in our league, and good players, if they go out there and really push it. So to have him make that decision to come back and want to finish his career here, that's something that it takes you back to the guys, previous, and whether it's 5 years or 10 or 15. And we played an exhibition game up in Minneapolis in the fall, and had Taiwan Pickford, Antoine Kimmons, Marvin Singleton, and then way back to Eric Coleman. Those guys, they all were able to make it and be at dinner. And so you think of Titan in that way, right? And those names, and what those meant to our program, and that's for Titan, or for us right now, man. That's Titan. And he had a big second half against Washington State. We were down 23 at halftime, and that didn't sit well with him or his teammates. And they all played well in the second half. But Ty had a big second half, and he had a couple stretches yesterday in the second half where he was rebounding, defending, and attacking the basket in transition. So. I've said it before, but really fortunate to have him. It's been fun to be part of his, 4.5 years. It's going to be really proud to say I coached him all 5 years.
Preseason, you told me that you thought Leon Bond was going to have a big year for you, maybe a kind of an all-conference kind of a guy potentially, and he's had some very big moments, and he's been very important to your team.
Yeah, he had against Montana. He gets 37 points on 15 shots. He I think 4 or 5 from the 3-point line, got to the free throw line 9 times. He's I'm not a stats guy, but you look at his line, he's got, I think it's around 5.5 rebounds, and it's around 2.5, 3 assists, and he'll get, I don't know what the steals, if it's 1.5, but he does a little bit of everything, and that's why I feel like he can be a really effective player in our league. And I do feel like he can be an all-conference player, and he can be an all-conference player this year. Even though he's young, he's just a sophomore, and he's got a couple more years to do this. Because of that versatility, one, and then two, he's got a great feel for the game. He's a really good passer. He's a really good cutter. He's really patient offensively, and just 20 seconds ago, I said he scored 37 points. Well, right. I mean, when you put all those things together, patience and a feel for the game and a good cutter and a good passer and the ability to get 37 points on 15 shots. So, really, with LB, it's he's working hard on his consistency. That's that of course is the hardest part of greatness, is being able to do it every single day and being able to do it every single time you go out there, and then understanding, and this is where I'm really hopeful for him, and that understanding you're not going to do everything right. He's got so much ability that, and he's hard on himself, and to be able to understand that you're going to make mistakes, that's part of playing the game, right? There isn't any way to play in a 40-minute basketball game and think that you're not going to make a mistake, and to just let some of that stuff slide, and just get on to the next play, and because he does so many things well. So, I'm hopeful that he can, give himself a little bit of a break on that, and he's working on that. And when he gets past that, Harry, and not feeling like he has to do everything correct and be perfect, and when he gets past that, man, he's playing really good right now, but I think he'll take off.
You guys have had a lot of sustained success since before you were the head coach, with Coach McDermott, and now yourself there a long time, and a lot of success. Similarly, Belmont has had just mountains of success, and you take on the Bruins on Wednesday night. What makes Belmont such a special program, and Casey such an outstanding coach?
Well, it's it's what you just said. It's a program. It's not a team each year, and that I think is one of the best compliments that a person can give or receive when you're talking about in athletics, and they certainly are, right. They've got a program and they've got a foundation, and then Casey and I just getting to know each other since they joined the league. Really, I don't know that we had met prior to that, but in getting to know him, he's tough. He's a hard nosed guy, and his teams play that way. So they're going to be really tough, physical, and hard nosed. And then the other thing I would tell you is they've been a terrific offensive team, a really hard team to play against. Recruits high skill level, guys that dribble it, pass it, shoot it. A lot of guys that make threes at a high rate. So they've been hard to defend, and in particular, we've had a really hard time defending them. And we've only played them a handful of times, Harry, but that's he's tough. His teams are tough, and they're really good offensively.
They have about 4 or 5, 6'9" guys this year. It's really an interesting makeup. Does that present a unique challenge for you guys?
Yeah, it does. We're a little more equipped to handle size this year. Titan and Huddy up front, of course, are the fifth-year seniors, and they've got size for their position. But with Ben and with Leon at the two guard positions, Ben's 6'6", almost 6'7", and he's long and can move his feet. And Leon's a good 6'5", legit 6'5", and same, he's got length and he's strong, and so we've got more size with those guys. Our teams, we seem to have had a small guy over the years, a Bowen Bourne, Farouk Manesh, Johnny Moran. We seem to have had a small guy in a lot of years that we've played, and we don't right now. Unfortunately, with RJ's injury, we don't have our small guy. I wish we did. And Kale's really physically strong, but he's probably 6'1". So we're a little more equipped. We've got a little more size. Now, it's still going to be a challenge, but we got a little more size at the 2 and the 3 than what we've had in the past.
Appreciate your time today, Jake. I wish you all the best.
Okay. Thanks, Harry.
Our Wednesday night coverage begins at 8 p.m. Central. For more information on where you can catch the games, please visit mvc-sports.com. For the Missouri Valley Conference, I'm Harry Schroeder.